Hey there, wonderful world of social media. Ladies and gentlemen, it's yours truly, Jimmy Williams, back again with another great and informative video. I hope you're doing well. I hope your families are well. Hope you guys are prospering. I have a very powerful word for you guys tonight. You know, sometimes I'm mostly not political at all, but I'm a very spiritual guy. But every now and then, the Most High will move on my spirit to give a word, especially in the areas of racism, injustice, and things of that nature, because you know a lot of black men are not really talking about the things that need to be addressed. Well, that's my calling. Even though you see me do all these things with real estate and finance and business, and you know I talk about how to transform the mind and all those things, and those things are important. But racism and the effects of it is very, very important to talk about as well. You know, we can't act like we don't see it, right? It's out there, and you know it's a tough assignment. But hopefully you'll get something out of this, and hopefully it'll transform the way you see things in life, not just your mind, but your spirit and your heart in the right direction, okay? Let me just give you this message a title before I get into it, and I'll lay some groundwork. And I'm going to share a very important dream that I had that inspired me to go on, you know, to come on here tonight and talk about this. So the title tonight, and I'm really addressing black people first, okay? And I'm addressing white people too, but black people first. I'm talking to you, okay? Better known as the Hebrew Israelites, okay, in America here, and you know those of us who are scattered around the world. Black people in America, do not let your heart become bitter against this racist system. You ought to be upset, you ought to be angry, but be angry and sin not. Don't let it cause you to lose your soul and to lose your dignity and make you go off on the deep end. If you have that anger, you have to control it and put it to good use, because there's a lot that we don't fully understand about racism. But I'm going to break some things down tonight and tell you about a special dream that I had. And the dream was a dream of liberation. Okay, so black people, don't be bitter. Don't let what you see in the media and some of the things you see around you and circumstances cause you to become a person with a hard heart where Yah, the Most High Yah, can't penetrate. All right, let's get into this. Now, if you're white, my white brothers and sisters, all praises to the Most High for you. Those of you who love us, this message is just going to clarify some things. And I think you're probably going to want to take some notes and share this with your friends. And a lot of you guys are thinking what I'm going to talk about, black and white, but you just won't say it. So to my white family out there, I love you. And don't be offended in any way, because this is from the heart. And this is something that the Most High has given me to share. All right. So let's lay the groundwork before I get into the video, before I get into my dream last night. All right, so let's talk about racism for about 2 minutes here. Racism is something that was created by other groups of people other than black people, okay? Typically Caucasian people, all right? And we understand that racism came from a place of wanting to control other groups of people for power and money and wealth, and to manipulate systems so that they can stay on top. That's a natural fact. This is research, you know, and this is around the world. This is not just in America, all right? We do know this about racism. It's a fraud. It's not real. And when I say it's not real, I mean, you know, you can't judge a person by what they look like unless you plant the seed in their mind that they're less than. So whenever black people wake up to that lie, then it has no power. That's what I mean when I say it's a fraud. It's actually real, but it's not real when you wake up and you decide, you know what, that person's no better than me. But they built a system on a lie that they're supreme. When I say they, I mean the powers that be. Okay, and so we as a black people are waking up to that lie. So what am I saying here? Listen to what I'm saying carefully. If a white person or another group of people come out and call a black person a racist, or saying that black people they have a system of racism, that's a lie too, because we're not controlling the system. We can't control the narrative. We can't go out and say, you know what, because of your skin color, you can't get a job. Because of your skin color, we're going to put you in jail and give you more jail time. Because of your system, we're going to create a police system that polices you, right? And because of your color of your skin, we're going to go ahead and create laws that are against you. You know, the Supreme Court and all those things and all these other systems that are in place to oppress another group of people. So me, myself, and black people cannot be racist. This is okay. Think about that for a moment. We can't be racist because we don't control the system. So other groups of people, don't call a black person a racist because you don't know what you're talking about. It's virtually impossible. Can we be prejudiced? The answer is yes. Can we hate white people? Can we hate other groups of people? Yes, we can. And I'm going to speak to black people here. Don't hate out of ignorance, okay? If you have an alt, like I said before, in your heart, take that anger and take it and use it for the benefit of building up Yah's kingdom with it and do something constructive with it. Continue to fight for the fight of freedom, but don't hate, okay? So black people cannot be racist. Let's clear the air on that. Can we be prejudiced? Yes. And I'm going to tell you, do not be prejudiced based on what you see on television. You know, do what Dr. King said, which makes perfect sense. Judge a man not by the color of his skin, but by the content of his character. No matter what color he is. You know, and I'm going to tell you right now, I've had a lot of white people in my life, white men and women that have mentored me. I had one white man, he actually helped me financially, okay? You know, I'm talking in the thousands of dollars many years ago. I had another white guy taught me, you know, started getting me into real estate and taught me how to be a businessman. You know, I had several white women over the years that have helped me, you know, grow even spiritually. So what am I saying here? Keep an open mind and don't let your spirit get you in trouble. Don't let the things that you see around you and the bad things that are happening to the Hebrews as a people, the black people in this country and around the world, don't let that stop you from entering into Yah's kingdom and stop you from your destiny. All right? I'm going to tell you a true story. This is basically a dream that I had, but the dream is prophetic for my life, and it's going to be prophetic to help you. And I think it's one of the best things that could have happened to me because, you know, even though I help all types of people, you know, there are times when I speak on race and I see things on television and I see how black men get shot down in the street unjustly and all these bad, crazy things keep happening to us. Sometimes my heart gets a little bit bitter, you know, and I have so many white students that love me, that I mentor and coach, and I have white colleagues and I love them. But there's always this thing in my heart when I'm thinking, you know, do they really hate me because of how I look? How do they really see me? You know, so there's always this little wall that was up that I didn't really know was there. So when I got this dream I'm going to share with you, the Most High Yah himself was telling me, Jimmy, watch your heart. And Hebrews, I'm telling you the same thing. Watch your heart towards white people and other groups of people because they're not all bad. I know you want to believe that. White people, if you think all black people are bad and you know, are on welfare and you know, and don't want to go to work and all those things, all those negative things that the media taught you about us. Lie, lie, lie. Don't believe that. You got to be smarter than that. Use your brain. Think a little bit. Like Dr. King and Malcolm X said, use your mind, okay? So let's get into this dream. Guys, I had a dream a few nights ago. And I was laying beside my wife and I was in a deep sleep. And, you know, I know when I actually get into a deeper sleep because it feels like I'm out of my body. Like I felt like I was in a vision or something. And I was in the 1800s. It seems like the Most High Yah had plucked me out of this current generation and put me, you know, way back into time. 1800s. I looked exactly like I look now. I had on a pinstripe suit. I looked sharp. And I was in the deep racist South somewhere. I could have been Alabama or, you know, Mississippi. I don't know where I was, but I knew it was a very racist area. And I had a huge house. I was very successful. I was a master builder, kind of like my father and my grandfather. They built houses and all that. And I was a successful man in the 1800s in the South in this dream. And the dream was black and white. Okay, let me say that again. Black and white, old, you know, looks like a very old scenery. It could have been in some deep, small town in the South somewhere, you know. I don't know, Jackson, Mississippi or somewhere like that. And I was successful and prosperous. This was the early 1800s. So obviously, if you look at what happened in the natural realm in this country, slavery was up until 1865. So this dream was before slavery had ended. But I was successful. I was a free man. Check this out. I lived with two white people, older people. Okay, they were probably in their 60s. Actually, they lived with me. It was my house. I was successful, but they were living with me. And I was home. Listen to this, guys. I was home building something. I was creating this little house. It was like a little house that I put together as a model for an actual house I was going to build. Remember, I was a master builder, but I was like an architect. I could draw things, and I was putting it together. It was a nice house I was building, and I was in my little workshop inside my house building. And I remember the old man was there, old white guy, and he was just really talking to me, and he was nice. He was kind of like a mentor to me. You know, I didn't know what he was. I didn't really understand the relation that I had with the guy. I knew he wasn't my dad or anything like that, but he was mentoring and just talking to me while I was building the house. And something happened where the house broke. while I'm working on the house. All right. And the white woman that lived in the house, she was on the other side of the house. She wasn't there with me at the time. So I told the man, I said, well, we need to go to the shop and get this fixed and see what they can do about it, you know, and see if we can get this thing back on track again, because I want to take this model so I can use it to build the real house, the actual house that I was going to build. So we all take off. We go to the market. We go to a shop up the street, and it was like a hardware store. It was, keep in mind, it was me, the white man, the white woman. They were married. Okay. And she was very sweet to me. And I kept trying to figure out 1800s. They're really nice to me. They live with me. They're white. Okay. And they respected me. Listen to me, guys. I'm going somewhere. Treated me like royalty, like a king. You know, you guys, my wife and I use the term king and queen because that's a spiritual thing. That's a kingdom mind thing, right? Well, they treated me like a king in the 1800s in this dream. So we get up to the counter. I never forget this part of the dream. This is what really shocked me. I had the little house in my hand, and I put it on the table in front of the guy, the cashier, the guy in front of me, and he was looking at the house. There was something wrong with the house. He said, Jimmy, there's something still wrong with this house. And I grabbed the house. Mind you, the white woman and the white man, the woman's on this side, the white man's on this side. They, you know, I consider them to be elders. They were older than me. Keep in mind of that, okay? They were there looking at me while I was working on this house, and I became angry with the house. I was trying to put the house together because the guy said, you know, you got to fix the house before I can help you. He wanted to help me with the house. He wanted to do something to the house with me, the guy at the counter, but he needed me to fix the house first. And then my frustration got worse and it got worse and worse. And I broke the house again. I was trying to fix it, but I broke it. And all of a sudden, the Most High Yah spoke to me. I want you to hear this. He said, Jimmy, the house is you. And I'm looking around, I'm going, Did I just hear what I thought I heard? He said it again. He said, this vision you're having is not about the house, but that little house right there is you. That's your heart. That's the inside of you. You are a broken man. You are a broken Hebrew man. You're my chosen son. You are my chosen people in the earth realm. He was talking about black people. I knew what he was talking about. He said, you are the chosen people, but you're broken inside. And you need to be fixed. You need to be molded. You need healing. And guys, this is in the dream. What's so powerful about this is I started crying in my bed. Even though I was asleep, the anointing and the power of Yah was there. I felt it, but I felt sorrow. I felt the pain. I felt what was going on in my heart. And when he said that to me, I dropped the house and I just started crying. And I heard this music. I can still hear the music in my head right now. It's so powerful, guys. I want to do a movie on this one day. But the music was so liberating. And I'm crying, looking at the house. He said, that's you. That's you right there. And he said, this is what blew me away. He said, those people that you're looking at, that this woman and this man, are part of your ancestry. And they love you. They look up to you. They respect you. They look at you as a leader. So think about that, guys. These people, they're familiar spirits. Okay, you guys understand. If you're spiritual, you understand what familiar spirits are. They come from ancestry. They show up in dreams sometimes. Okay? They're from the past. These two people were really from my ancestry looking at me, and they started crying too. I'm crying. He said, give them a chance. Don't hate all white people. Did he say that? I said that wrong. Don't hate. He said, don't hate any white people. Get the hate out of your heart. All white people are not the same. So I want to make sure I correct myself there. He said, don't have hate for white people. You can dislike them. You can be angry with what they did, but do not put them all in the same category. He said, you see these two people here? They're part of you. They're part of your DNA. Okay? Broke my heart. It was so powerful, and inside I broke because I knew that there was something inside that was keeping me from getting to that next level in my life, even to this very day. Now, for Hebrews that are watching, some of you are going to say, well, that means that you're not an Israelite, Jimmy. Well, yes, I am, because if you go back, and you guys who study DNA and archaeology, the Y chromosome DNA, the E1B1E, E1B1A, which African Americans and certain groups are the tribe of Judah and Israel, is right, where E1B1A, all the other groups, The Hamites, which are certain Africans and certain other groups, are E1B1E, but we are E1B1A. That's a certain haplogroup that identifies Judah and the 12 tribes of Israel. Okay, so researchers and geneticists, you guys can't refute this. This is truth. But I do know this about DNA. Black people and white people, we got all mixed together because remember, because of slavery and Jim Crow, and before that, there was a lot of raping going on. There was a lot of black men that were, sleeping with the white women under the cover. They had mulatto children, right? The black men get lynched. The baby became a slave. Frederick Douglass, good example. His father was white. His mother was black. And then you have, the white men raped the black women, right? So our DNA got tampered with. But to be a real Hebrew Israelite, it's 3 generations in a row. So let's say my wife and I have a son. He marries a white woman. That's 1 generation, right? And then their kid marries a white person, which is my grandson, right? He marries a white woman, right? And then they have a son, which is my great-grand. They marry a white person. Then that DNA it's totally wiped out. It goes to the white genealogy. Well, same thing with black, okay? So if a black man, right, marries a white woman, and then they have a kid, that kid marries a black person, which would be my grandson, right? And then they marry a black person, which is the 2nd generation. And then the next generation would be totally Hebrew Israelite. So, and I chased my DNA. I looked back at my DNA. I looked at it. I looked at my fathers, my father and mother, looked at their parents, which were my grandparents. I looked at the next generation. So you go back 3 generations on both sides, it's all black people, all Hebrews. But somewhere along the line in the 1800s, something got tampered with. Okay? So the Most High Yah was showing me through unrefutable evidence. This is why it's so important to have the Ruach HaKodesh, the Holy Ghost, to show you this stuff. That those people have a part to do with me. We are connected, even though I'm a Hebrew, and that they love me, even though they I'm praying that they're in heaven because I saw them in the dream, and they were rooting for me. They were happy. They were honored that I was a black man in this generation doing what I'm doing. He was showing me that all the nations are rooting for black men who do the right thing, black men that stand up for something. There are some white men that are some good men. They stand up for something. Heaven's rooting for you. But you have to be grafted into the kingdom. And that was the revelation I got, that they don't all hate us. The white people and the other groups that have been deceived into hating black people, Satan has gotten their heart. You can't change that. But you can't worry about that. Don't let their hate cause you to go to hell and you lose your soul. And so I wept like a baby, kept weeping, and I woke up out of the dream, and I'm crying in the bed. I look over to my wife, I said, honey, I can't, this dream blew my mind. It just did something to me. And I haven't been the same since. This is a few nights ago. I have some spiritual mothers that are in my life that are white, some spiritual daughters. I have one that I know, her name is Mary Travers Barber. She's a student of mine, but I look at her like a spiritual daughter. I have a spiritual mother, her name is Joan Laurie. And I respect her a lot, honor her. And I know she loves me as a spiritual son, and I have many, many more that I can't talk about that I connect with. I want to let you know I love you. There's no hate in here, okay? There's no prejudice in here in my heart. If it was hidden deep in there, when I had that dream the other night, I woke up and repented immediately and said, Father, take that out of me. I don't want it in there. Hebrews, you're going to need to have that because you can't reach your destiny. You cannot reach your full potential with hate in your heart. I'm not telling you to let people walk all over you. If you were to ask me if I was back in the day as a slave, what would I have done? More than likely, I would have been, I would have been like Nat Turner. Guys, go look up Nat Turner, the preacher who became a rebel, who rebelled against, the white people enslaving the black folks, and he had a rebellion and he killed some slaves. That might have been me because I don't have that in me to settle for that kind of stuff. But I'm not telling you guys to go pick up your gun and all that and go shoot and kill people. What I'm saying is if you were to tell me if I was Dr. King or Malcolm X, I'm kind of in the middle. I love to preach. I love to show love and all that. But I'm not going to turn the other cheek. If you come to my house and try to fight me in my home and try to hurt my wife, I'm going to lay you down. Right? That doesn't make me a soft or wicked or evil person either. I said, let me say that again. Doesn't make me soft. Doesn't make me wicked. It doesn't make me an evil person. All right? It's all the perception of a thing. But I wanted to make sure that I get this to you because your heart has to be right. Family, please get this revelation. If your heart's not right, you're not going to make it in. Judah and Israel, listen to me. 2/3 of us get cut off, either because we won't wake up to the truth. You get buried in Christianity. You get buried into being a Muslim. And all. Remember, those are religions. We are the Israelites by bloodline. We belong to Yah. We're not a religion. 2/3 of us get cut off, and I think a lot of that is because of the bitterness. We don't want to hear truth. White people, if you're out there, stop hating Israel, because there's going to come a day you're going to stand before the Most High. You know, you've been deceived in the other false Israel over there. They're not the people. They're not. And he's going to say, why'd you treat my people so bad? Why'd you call them coon, nigger, and monkey, and all these names you gave them? If you ain't repented of it, you're going to give account for it. I'm talking to all of you. Keep your hearts pure. It taught me to let go and don't judge. Let it go. Let the Most High judge, because he's going to judge righteously. I'm telling you guys, listen to the prophet right now, because I'm in that office right now. I got to give this word. I love you. Go and talk to people that you have problems with, that you have an ought with. Your mother, father, sister, and brother. People, cousins, relatives, people in business that you've hurt, whatever, and you haven't made it right. Go make it right, because you don't have the time you think you have. You want to make it right today. Racism is evil, it's wicked, but don't let racism be the reason that you don't make it. The Father will deal with that system of racism. He's tearing it down before our very eyes. And he's going to eventually raise up his kingdom to its full potential. You don't have to do anything evil to help him with that. Keep your heart pure. It did a number on me. I'm a different man because of it. I love you all. To the 12 tribes of Israel first, and to everyone else who's grafted in, to the family. Love you. Peace and blessings in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. Shalom. Bye-bye.